these servers are getting constantly slammed right now just with Sora. Imagine what it's like having these releases. They're going to catch some bugs.
So I mean, like as you know,
Even
as
still,
people on this side of the globe, they sleep, then
even
it's because
still.
I
That,
know
but
for even
that
still,
still takes a
for
chain of
sure, even
command of,
still, yeah.
there's a chain of command where something can go wrong, right? What's up?
All
What's
right,
up?
welcome back,
Welcome back to another episode. We're here to give you guys the most. I'm your co-host, Deuce Noble.
and I'm your co-host DJ.
All right, DJ.
Man, we have the news just keeps rolling,
Hey, man,
Deuce. It just
listen.
keeps rolling.
Today is a cool, or this week, or these next couple of days, we're here going to talk about, of course, OpenAI's 12 days of shipments. They have announced some pretty
Yep.
cool things, so we're just giving our quite honest reaction to how we feel about what they've been releasing. So, what are we going to talk about today, DJ?
Man, so we have a lot. So just to kick things off, we all know Sora. We released a video just talking about that. But Sora AI has just recently been announced, and there's been a lot of videos on YouTube, talking about that. And there's a lot of other video generators that are out there right now. So basically, we want to look at Sora, see how it racks and stacks up against the competition, the
Right,
other AI video models that are currently out there. So yeah, so at the beginning of the year, February, they showed off Sora AI. And at that point in time, I mean, it was leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else.
right.
But now, like I said, there's Luma Labs. I think there's
There's a
Clean
clean, yeah.
AI. Of course, Runway's Gen 3 models, the turbo and their alpha. Like, there's just a lot of other competition that look
And DJ,
really, really good. So,
you have used a few different video editing tools to make some
oh yeah,
videos as well, right? So I guess in that
yes.
sense, how would you compare Sora to what you've used in the past? Because I know you've been doing these videos for a few years now, and I'm sure that
Yeah.
they don't even compare, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been in this, I mean, and it's just grown. Like, like Mid-Journey, the images that you can create from then, like with the first version all the way up to now, and that's the same thing with the video generators. Like it was like, some of the early ones, like Gen 1 with Runway.
Hmm.
I really love their models, but I think Sora is definitely one of the top tier models. I would say like that. It's a top. I don't know if it's necessarily like the best. So I'll definitely do some deep dives and I'll do a comparison video. I'm sure there are going to be some other comparison videos on YouTube that kind of show them. But in my opinion, I mean, it's definitely top tier. So I would say Clean AI, Sora, and Runway's Gen 3, like specifically the Alpha, those are like top tier. And I might be missing some because like, there's just a lot that's out there in the market right now, but those are really solid for AI video generation.
No, no, I think those are and have been. So I think even with the changes that they've implemented with Sora and with it's only their basically it's V1 right for them, and it's pretty sweet already, right? So I guess let's dive into kind of unpack some of the highlighted points that were from the release video that we had. That or I'm sorry, that OpenAI had, and let's dive into some of those key factors.
Yeah, so talking about so like day three, I think it was for Sora, right? So we're on day four. I mean, it's exciting one. We talked about the other day on our video, just like how they're doing the 12 days of shipments and just like coming from the product world and from the engineering role from Deuce and everything like that. It's just like I don't think I've heard of a company just doing 12 consecutive releases like that. I mean, so shout out to the dev team, the product team, everybody that's a part of how they have that going on there. Definitely the test engineers, everybody from the whole full team.
Right.
But yeah, so to start off from what we're talking about, like what they talked about with Sora was they released Sora. Sora is going to be on Sora.com, so it's a standalone website. So it won't be on your ChatGPT website or interface. It's its own UI, and I mean it's pretty cool.
Not
There's a
well,
lot of
not
features
only
that they
not only
have.
that. I mean, I think it's great that everyone can have access to it, and no matter what level you're on with your ChatGPT membership, if you have pay for the Pro or the Plus, I think it's pretty cool. You can use. Yeah, I'm a ChatGPT Plus member, not Pro, because that Pro
Yeah,
price is little much, little steep. But no, I
Go
think
put that pro price
no,
down.
I think it's going to be great to add it into the repertoire of tools you get to use in that whole suite,
Yeah.
right? And I think if you're looking to kind of add something to your arsenal for small things, right? Hey, this is a perfect tool. I think it'll continue to grow, obviously, and I think it's
Well, one yeah, one point of clarification. If you only use the free model, because remember 4.0 is now free,
that's
but if you
right.
have the free, you don't get access to it. Yeah, so it's only like Deuce was
You
talking
can see
about, it's only
the
the
gallery, right?
plus and then the pro.
You,
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
see the
that's right. You can
gallery.
see
Yeah.
the
You can
gallery. If you have if you're not paying for Chat GPT, you can see the gallery
yeah,
that Sora from the videos that are created in Sora, right? So you can go and check
yeah,
that out and kind of see, hey, the potential that it has. Um, even in
yeah,
the example that OpenAI had, the imagery was pretty great that it created
yeah.
naturally, but also it took from an image and just expounded on that image as well. Um,
Oh yeah,
so
the
even
image to
yeah,
video.
so
Yeah,
it even like some of the features as far as, hey, we're going to have an image. I'm going to have some inputs of what I want this video to be, and it'll just kind of create from that kind of that space, right? So I thought that was pretty sweet.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty good. They have image to video. So what I was saying before, they came out with a full feature suite. Like, so it's a real product now. So it's not just like, hey, we're gonna add this into ChatGPT and you be able to prompt and say, hey, can you make me a video instead of like you do now with Dolly 3, can help me create an image of X, Y, and Z. It's a standalone product. So they have storyboarding to where like you can put certain prompts together, and so that way you can have like the basically some consistency, as much as possible because it's still generated. But you can basically have a where you can prompt, you know, one piece of the story, then you can prompt the next, and you can kind of have a cohesive story with those. And those are available. I think storyboarding is available to the pro.
And plus,
It might be available to
I
plus,
think,
yeah,
yeah,
also
I
as well.
believe so. But hey, either way,
I've tried to play around with it as much as I could, but the servers right now are getting completely hammered
hammered.
as it
I
is with
mean,
all these new AI
but
tools.
this
So
is
yeah,
but to your point on that, right? I mean, kind of a little sidetrack, but to your point, these servers are getting constantly slammed right now just with
yeah,
Sora. Imagine what it's like having these releases. They're going to catch some bugs, right? I can't fathom how much of a nightmare it must be for everyone at OpenAI on the back end side trying to maintain these releases. That's a lot of work going out.
yeah.
Man, these server
I mean, it might. They probably have a global force, though, right? So I mean, like as
even
as
still.
people on this side of the globe, they sleep, then
Even
to come.
still,
I
that
know for
but that's
even
it.
still,
That still takes a
for
chain of
sure, even
command of
still,
you know.
yeah,
There's a chain of command where something can go wrong, right? I mean, that's
yeah,
there's
yeah,
even more room for error when you have a global team. But no, nonetheless, though, kudos to OpenAI. I think it's extremely dope how they're going about this. Like I said, never before seen. Even in the video, talking about Sora, you know, I forget his name, but he was talking about how big of a target they have on their back as a company because
oh
they
yeah, one of the developers,
right.
yeah,
So they're one of the product
yeah,
engineers. He was on the product team,
yeah.
and you know he was saying like OpenAI really has a big target on their back just because of some of the implications that come behind you know AI. Whether you know, so they really tried to
Oh
stand on
yeah,
a
for
good
sure,
box, but
yeah,
also you know be very open minded as far as the consumers that hey, this is still a work in progress. It's not going to be perfect. Things are
yeah.
going to mess up, but they're iterating on it, and I think that's cool. Just to let us and all the end users like us know, hey, this is something that's a work in progress.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely gonna. So you can see some videos as you go through the gallery now. Like they'll do some weird stuff. Some of them look really good, and you can bookmark those. So some of the features also, like I was saying before, the storyboarding. Another feature you can bookmark ones that you like from the gallery. So if you see somebody else, you can also see their prompt, which is really cool. Some people don't like to share their prompt because it's like they want to have like their own thing. But apparently, OpenAI's stance on that is
We
it's
call
like they'll
those
have the prompt open,
gatekeepers.
so you can kind of yeah, yeah. Some people like they want their own prompt in, but like Midjourney is very open about their prompts. Like you have to pay, I think you have to pay like a crazy more like a large larger amount basically if you wanted to have your prompt private or just like have your own private thing. But so either way, long story short, Sora is taking that approach also to where like you can see everybody's prompt that they use to kind of get that. And even if you have the same prompt, everybody knows you may not, you're not going to get the exact same thing. You may get a little bit around it, but you won't get that exact same thing. So I don't see any harm in it
Absolutely.
personally, but
Well, look,
but some people also they do work hard. You should see some of these prompts that some people
no,
put
I
together,
believe it.
and so I
I
think
can only imagine.
that's why they're
I can
kind of
only
like, oh, I
imagine. You're
don't want
right.
everybody
That
having
makes
to, yeah,
sense.
yeah,
But it's almost like one of those.
yeah,
It's like, oh, I created this and it's making me so much, but it's almost like a trade secret, right? you know. But
yeah,
all right. But one of the other things we talked about all of the capabilities and how cool Sora is. But let's go ahead and discuss some of the limitations that it has. Right? What are we looking at as far as like, hey,
yeah.
what is that going to be the handicap for Sora right now? Right?
Yeah, I mean, so from my perspective, and I would love to hear what you had to think on this one as well, but limitations is like I said, some of the prompts they don't really they don't have that good of prompt adherence, or they're still kind of morphing and warping. And this happens also with Runway ML. Like you'll see some things, and they're really good about taking that feedback and fixing that and improving and working on that. That's going to be with all of them as they kind of grow. But specifically, some of the things I think is walking. So if you're trying to prompt something to walk, sometimes you'll see, and I want to say Matt VidPro did a pretty good video on that to kind of just show the warping of the legs when you're trying to get something to
Hmm.
walk. Sometimes it's really good. What I've seen is animation works really well, like kind of more animation style things that works really well. But if you want more realism and you want them to kind of move or eat food or do certain things, it's a little,
Right.
it could be a little
And
weird.
yeah, to that
Yeah.
point, and one of the examples they shared with us was they had woolly mammoths walking in the desert, and they wanted to do an
Mhm.
extreme change and make the woolly mammoths like look like robots. It kind of so when they generated it, it kind of gave me the feel of the Star Wars, kind of walkers that they had. But you could see in one of the examples, one of the four videos that was videos that were generated, the walking was very much off, right? It looked kind of weird and
Yeah.
wonky. And I think that just goes to show, hey, obviously it's still a work in progress, even with the Pelican video, right? It didn't really grab a fish like it had asked. And I think that's one of the things. It's like, hey, it's learning to feel like if you maybe could have explained it a little bit more in your prompt, you might have got better results.
Yeah,
So I think that, there's a work in progress, but I feel like they're going to start to incorporate a lot more changes just to make those videos render a lot better.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to play around with it. Like, ever since I saw, I think there was like a sea turtle that was like made of crystals or something like that, walking on the beach. Like it was one of their
Fire.
earlier videos that they put. I was just like, it was just, that looked really cool. And I've been creating in this space, like creating AI videos for years, and I mean, like years and years, and like, you all of us kind of that are in this sector, like. You'll see like some trends and everybody jumps on there because like warp fusion was really popular a while back, and then like there was
Yeah,
Kyber
I
and all these
remember.
other things, and that people were kind of moving over to, and of course like Comfy UI is what a lot of people use with their stuff now. That's pretty popular. So, this is just something else that gives everybody something in their toolbox. And the cool thing is you can mix and match. So a lot of times, earlier I would mix Mid Journey with the Runway ML, so I would create an image in Mid Journey and then put that over in Runway ML and run it through there, and then like it would animate it. So it was like pretty cool. So a lot of different workflows that you can do. So all in all, yeah, I can't wait till we'll report more on like
Yeah,
what we're seeing with Sora and its
absolutely.
advancements because the product team will be
I'm
looking
excited to
and making
see.
improvements at the
I'm excited
future.
to see
Yeah,
what it looks like when you can develop longer videos. Obviously, it's not you're going to put up no blockbuster,
yeah,
um, a performance or a blockbuster video, but when you can create those long form videos, past a minute and more, I think it would be really cool to see the future of what Sora does. But yeah, no,
yeah. That's going to be interesting.
yeah,
But just one thing I guess to touch on real quickly is this, of course, deep fakes and all this other stuff.
absolutely.
Um, Going back to what you were talking about before, they have a tremendous amount of guardrails that are on there. Like, like if anything is oversensitive as it is right now, like I put in a prompt for something and it was just like, I can't do that. And I had to kind of change the prompt around. So, and it wasn't even anything bad. It was just like, so of course, like people, celebrities, and all this other
Right.
stuff, it's staying away from
And
all of
probably
that. So
brand
you may
brand
see a lot of
things, brand name things and
Yeah,
other things.
any
Yeah.
brand stuff you're not typically going to see like logos or anything like that. So they're
Well,
and Dolly 3 is also the same way. Like Midjourney and where's the other one? Like Leonardo AI and some other
mhm.
ones. They're a little bit more open to where like you can do certain things like maybe create some characters or whatever using those. But with Dolly 3, like everything with OpenAI, if it's copyrighted, they're typically not messing with that.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
that's what is cool and great to see and hear about. All right, let's kind of shift gears here a little bit, slightly. Well, we're gonna want to talk about Canvas, a little bit about Canvas, and kind of how that relates, what
Nice.
it is, how it relates to Sora, and yeah, what that tool is going to be used for coming going forward. So let's go, take it away, DJ. What's up?
Yeah, so Canvas, that was released today. So this feature has already been there available for pro members. And so they released extra features for Canvas. So Canvas is, if you use Anthropic's Claude AI, they have, I think it's called Artifact. This is something similar to that, but in its own way from OpenAI that they have, to where essentially you'll have like you'll have your normal ChatGPT interface over here, but aside from that, and we'll show that, and we'll leave you some links to where you can kind of see that as well. On the side, you'll have what you're actually doing. So if you're coding or if you're in Deuce, we talked about this the first
Yeah,
day that Canvas originally came out, right? Because you're over here prompting it. So on the left-hand side, you'll be able to prompt it. Prompt ChatGPT to say, hey, can you write me some code about whatever? And then on the right hand of the screen, it'll kind of split up and then it'll show you that. And you can actually hop in there and edit the code string.
right.
So it's kind of like really like you're working with the
It really
AI on
is.
coding or
It's
writing
almost it's
something.
almost
So
like a you
yeah,
could think I mean, we used to do a lot of pair programming, right? You're literally pair programming with the AI, kind of bouncing those ideas
yeah,
off of, hey, I was thinking about doing this, and then they would help you out with the code. So that's how I see it. It's
yeah,
just a code companion, but a lot of those days of when I was early in my career as a developer, pair programming was essential, especially learning some of the ins and outs of the
yeah.
tools of where I started working at. So that's what I think Canvas is going to be beneficial for in my eyes. I really am excited to continue using it. I've used it a few times already. I created a little bit of small cool things, but yeah, no, I think it's going to be
Yeah.
dope.
So what they added with Canvas is now Canvas will be available in the GPTs that you create. So in the custom GPTs that you have, you can enable Canvas in there, and and Canvas will also be available to free users, pro users, and plus users. So across the whole gambit, and it's more automated. So ChatGPT will basically, if you drop in like a large body of text, or if you do a certain thing, it'll allow you to expand to Canvas, and basically that way you can kind of iterate. Just leveraging Canvas as a feature. But it's really cool to kind of use Canvas if you're thinking about writing something, because you can go over and it's almost like Microsoft Word where you can bold certain things and
Yeah,
you can delete it. Like I said, you can do that. And then of course, like as Deuce mentioned, like when you're coding and developing, you can kind of, iterate it, like it breaks it down by each line of code. And also they enabled I want to say it's Python in Canvas, to where now, like when you put in, if you drop in some code in there, it'll automatically, like show it on the right hand side, and it'll come up like most of the IDEs, I believe, like to where like it has your syntax highlighted and everything like
hmm
that on there. So,
okay.
and Deuce, you can probably
Oh,
expand
hey,
more on
man,
there
listen.
because like it'll have each,
Listen,
yeah,
no, that's a great tool, especially when if you're learning a new language or you wanted to do something small in it. Man, this is I see perfect, especially not only just for people wanting to learn how to code, but people who are already, deep into their coding careers. This is something that's beneficial and on all fronts, man. I think, like I said, I'm excited to continue using it and with the new updates and everything. Yeah, in the last couple months I've been using Canvas for a few things. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be dope. So, I mean, with all of that, like, what do you think? What do you foresee as the future of AI in storytelling and video and filmmaking? Like, what do you think the future is about to be with that?
man. I think. I mean, really, the sky's the limit. I mean, there's so many, like LTX Studio is one that is really built with AI in mind, and it's like a platform. And we'll probably dig into that on one of the episodes, but it's a platform that is really meant for movie storyboarding, right? And it has different clips, and it's meant to like have consistent characters. And that's one thing with hard with generative AI is
Mhm.
to like generate the same exact things, but they're working hard on basically stitching it together so you can have the same character throughout the whole
I
flow.
think
But go ahead,
no, no, no.
What
I
you think?
think I'm gonna call it here first. Look, you heard it here first, as always. I think before the end of 2025, we'll have our first feature film made completely by AI video generation. I'm talking
I mean,
blockbuster in the theaters, feature film, completely AI before the end of next year. Guaranteed it'll happen. Guaranteed.
I'll give you that. I don't know if it'll be by 2025. I'm thinking maybe 2026. But I mean, this year
Nah,
accelerated tremendously.
at the
Like everything that
rate,
we're seeing now, like even Sora is the worst that it'll ever be as it is right
that's
now,
what
and
I'm
it looks
saying.
really good.
At the rate this technology is accelerating, it's more of an
Yeah,
exponential curve than a flat over time curve. Like this stuff
yeah.
is it. I could only imagine. You got to think like, yeah. Before the end of next year, I'm sure there will be. Look, somebody, whoever's in the studio, come holla at me. I got some ideas for y'all. But no, I think, like I said, look, you heard it here first. Look, that's my bold prediction of today.
Yeah, I mean it might be. This technology is moving very fast. I mean, you just think like all of the chat the large language models that are just out on the market right now. Amazon just, announced their Nova models, I believe they're called. And so just seeing those and Grok 2 and I think Grok 3 is supposed to come out. So I
Mhm.
think with Elon with his XAI, they're supposed to, make some noise before the end of the year as well. Maybe they'll wait to after the 12 days of shipment so they don't kind
Hey,
of,
listen,
get overshadowed by
you know,
OpenAI.
I just thought about that. What are
But
some of these other, companies thinking about when they're seeing this? Like they're like, oh man, we got to respond, but you can't respond to back to back to back to back to back. Like I'm just saying,
it was a
12
delicious.
days you're releasing these features that obviously you've been working on, and I'm sure these other companies are working on things as well. But how many things do you have to? Do you
Yeah.
think how many times already in the last 4 or 5 days of the shipments? Like, do you think companies went back and say, "Hey, we got to go back to the drawing board on this one. Hey, we got to come back with a competitor. Hey, we got to go back and see what can we drop that's going to top this, right?" I know if they're looking to kind of gain an edge in the AI market, they are up right now. They're up all times of night trying to get
I don't
this
know,
done.
man.
They gotta
There's
be, right?
it's real competitive. It's real competitive right now because I mean, like, OpenAI could do all this, and then Claude Anthropic might release something, just crazy. Like, I just think all of the major players right now, they're just like, even Google with Gemini, like I was telling you before, like in the LLM kind of there's a LLM competitive space or whatever where it won't let the user know which LLM they're
Hmm.
using and they have to vote on which one there is. I forget what they call it, but basically Gemini is beating all the models right now. So I don't know if that's been since the full O1 has been out, but like they're making advancements and enhancements, there, and then they have their Gemini voice model, but OpenAI, they have the advanced voice mode. So there's just a lot of I think the people that are poised the best to do it, of course, is Google because everybody either has an Android or Apple.
Hmm.
Once they kind of really get the ball rolling, like, the Apple Intelligence is kind of they're still trying to find their way to get there, but I mean, like they're in good position. OpenAI is good. Anthropic and Anthropic is they've been working a lot with Amazon, really closely. So they just announced some partnerships that they have together. But I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think yeah, the OpenAI is definitely doing right with shipping. And it's been a while, and I think a lot of people were complaining because like everybody else was shipping features, and everybody's like, where's OpenAI? And it looks like they're kind of waiting for this moment to kind of really pump out the value. So different strategies, but either way, as on this side of the fence of it, it is just awesome to kind of be a part of it and kind of see it and leverage these tools and play around with them.
No, I absolutely agree. I think this is, as always, going to continually evolve this market into a good
Yeah.
space. It's really elevating. Not only is it very competitive, it's elevating the competition as well. And this is why I think, by the end of next year, there's going to be a lot of leaps and bounds in like many places. And I think, like you said, storytelling and filmmaking is going to be one of them. Just
Oh
because
yeah.
there's so much you can do with different things. And I think eventually the only thing that I see might stop it is just a legal battle of things, right? But that's it.
Yeah.
But I think that the
I
technology will
mean, with
be
the new
there.
administration,
I
yeah,
mean,
you heard about that. Yeah, so the new administration, I know there was a lot of guardrails with the current administration, but apparently, reportedly, is just like, they want to release, a lot of the kind of guardrails, which I don't know if that's the
I don't know.
I'm not getting into all that,
Yeah,
but I
I don't
mean, yeah, all
know.
I'm saying is just like they want to relinquish some of that because that way they want us as in like the United States to have a to be the on the forefront. They don't want to like slow us down with a bunch of regulation. But as Sam Altman and a lot of other people says, we need regulation and they want stuff to be
Right.
regulated properly. But yeah, so that there's you know ethics and all of that aside, they just basically really want us to advance in this space and kind of be the winners of this new AI race that's going on.
Hey, man, I'm cool with that. All
Yeah,
right.
but there's a lot. So
I
yeah.
think, there's so much more that is going to come out, right? I think, OpenAI, they're going to potentially save the best for last. Been working on something
Mm.
super uncovered. But I think that, with this, there's, a couple of tips that we can give, some of our listeners and things. So, DJ, what do you want to leave them with and kind of let them, chew on after this?
And so, I mean, there's just a lot. So for entrepreneurs and people that create content, I mean, Sora is going to be a powerful tool. I've seen a lot of it is a lot better with words like in the videos, like because at first AI really would have it struggled like with the spelling of things, but I've seen a lot of the videos
Mhm.
once again on the gallery that have correct spelling. So you can do some product demos, you can do like some personalized, kind of ads or whatever clips that you can stitch together. A lot of just cool social media
Yeah.
content. If you wanted
To
to
that
play
to that
around with
point,
some of the AI generated stuff,
to that
yeah,
point,
yeah.
if you could give us DJ's top five use cases for what we talked about today, what would they be? I need a solid five, a hot five right now.
Man, for Sora in particular,
Well,
or
yeah,
with
let's just
Canvas
say
and
Sora.
all right, I'll say Sora, and then maybe you say Canvas
Okay.
from like a developer standpoint. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
So from Sora, definitely social media content. Like so if you wanted to create something unique that you think would be cool, that because it does it in the form factor, the 9 by 16 for cell phones and 16 by 9 for your YouTubes and all that. So definitely social media content. I would say if you own a small business, definitely some personalized ads. So if you want to promote a certain product or something like that, you can actually
I'm
do
taking
that.
my notes.
Take a picture of that product. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you can definitely use it to the image to video function that's with Sora. So that's two. Three, generally, if you just want to play around with it to get more familiar with it, I would heavily suggest that. So outside of just, how I would really just see how the model works with different types of prompts because models, there's different prompting kind of ways to do with it and see what you like that's out on there. And then see, what you you might just, surprise yourself. But also there could be some explainer videos, things that
Oh
use
yeah.
cases that you may want to use. So like if you're trying to explain something you can prompt it and kind of help you explain it or just use if there's not a specific stock thing or if you don't want to pay for stock videos you can use something like this that's completely generated and you don't have to worry about it being copywritten or anything like that. So those are other kind of use cases. I think that's four. And honestly, yeah, I would cap it off at there.
Okay. Hey,
There's a whole gamut of things that you can kind of
that's
yeah.
already a solid list. I think all of our users and our listeners, and including myself, would be great to just start with, right? Solid
Yeah.
list. All right. So if we're thinking about Canvas, if we are our five
Yeah.
use cases for Canvas, I think the first one would be most likely robotics, right?
Mm,
There's a lot in at every scale because there's the first Lego League robotics. You can use Canvas to help, do some robotic work. Um, Whether you build out those robotics, they have kits from kids, and they have to go all the way up. You've seen those robots. I forget what it's called, but it's like the war games where these robots are fighting, man. If you
Oh yeah, where they fight
Man,
each other.
and you
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
always
yeah.
somebody doing code. There's always someone building it out. I think robotics is going to be really great using Canvas in addition to some of those things.
Oh, you mean to iterate on the code?
Exactly. Right.
Iterate on
So, I
the code.
mean,
Oh, I
you're
got
using
you. I got
Canvas
you.
to say, hey, I need this to work, but it kind of, self-solves itself. So that's one. Another
Mm,
one I think is home automation, right? We have a lot of these open source, gadgets and tools, but also some of that software you can edit yourself. And a lot of homes are coming, quote unquote, smart homes is very, very common
yeah,
nowadays, right? As scary as it might be. But if you have some of those open source tools, you can kind of use some of that automation to help you do things around the
yeah.
house, right? In home, if you're into, tinkering with things, right? I think that's really cool. Another thing I think would be a use case is business software. You got to think small businesses,
Mm,
entrepreneurs, they can build out software depending on whatever your business may be. You can say, hey, Canvas, this is kind of what I want to build. Maybe some type of
yeah.
intake system, and you can kind of do that on your own, right? It's one of those things like you can run it to do your taxes or whatever, right? Um, Maybe, right? I'm not a tax expert. We're not giving money, but I'm just saying, that's something I see as a high use case for Canvas. And I think lastly, honestly, um, well, not even lastly, number four, I can't even think of all five, but a fourth one I think is for actual software engineers and developers using it at their corporations or big, companies, using it as an assistant
If
if
they're
they're
allowed,
allowed,
yeah,
right? Right. But like you're
yeah, if they're
using this
allowed,
as an
yeah,
assistant to build some like platform software or
yeah,
even just fix code, like debugging code in that sense. Honestly,
yeah.
I know you said top five, but I think honestly, the last one is if you just want to learn how to code. Like simple and plain as it
For
is, right?
sure,
If you want
man.
to learn how to code, use it as a tutor or a teacher, right? And then you can say, hey, build me out a lesson plan to learn how to code in Java, right? Or Ruby, right? If you wanted to learn some archaic coding languages, right? But no, I think those are great top five use cases for each of the tools we talked about today. So as always, I mean, I think as an
Yeah,
entrepreneur, you got to identify your niche, whatever that might be in whatever business you choose. Make sure you identify also your audience, right? And then you combine both of those with your creativity, and you got something to put on the table at the end of the day, right? So,
definitely, man. I think there's a lot of use cases. I didn't get into like educational videos, what we can
man.
use it for. Animated stores if you're a storyteller, and then our filmmakers like for B-roll. I didn't like that's one, of course, obviously, right?
Man,
B-roll for like
but
movies
this
that
is
you're
so
doing.
many,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
This
So
is what I was
yeah,
like, but we need if we're
yeah.
gonna
That's what I'm saying.
if
That's
we're going to
it's
list
really
out the
open.
top
Yeah.
five, look, our hot five, hot take five right here.
Yes, yeah. So there's a lot of stuff, but definitely play around with the tools, especially when the server has some chance to breathe. But yeah, right now it's just been hammered. But that's Sora.com, and then ChatGPT for the Canvas, what
As
we just announced
always,
today.
we'll
That's
drop the
recorded
links
ChatGPT.
below in the description so you guys
Yeah,
can go directly to them, check them out.
yeah.
This is not a sponsor, but we would say we think it's great tools you guys use. We're not going to gatekeep. We want to make sure you guys have that as always, and also like, comment, subscribe, and share. And yeah, man, I think that's all. That's all she wrote. DJ, what you got? Anything else you want to add in?
No, man, that's
Hey, man,
it.
we'll see y'all on the next one.
We will talk.
Peace.
See you on the next one. Peace.